Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam
Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Enam Kanvam Dhamaravindanalaya Taksam Bhagavatam Samasitam Buddha Sundaram Kandar Agom Vidamaniya Vishesha Shobham
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Andani Yasa Sakalen Triya Priti Manti Vasyanti Panti Kayanti Jirandanti Anangatin Maya Sadhu Jala Nikahasya Govindam
Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami
Jai Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe. Jai Gauranitai, Jai Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jai Gauranitai. Jai Jagannatha, Jai Jagannatha, Baladeva, Jai Subhadra. Jaya Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai 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 Jai Prabhupada. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma. Bando Mui Savadana Mate. Bando Mui Savadana Mate. Jara Prasade Vai Bhava Turiya Jai. Krishna Prapti Hoy Jai Te. Krishna Prapti Hoy Jai Te. Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitte Koriya Aikya. আর না করি মনে আশা আর না করি মনে আশা শ্রী গুরু চরণে রতি সে উত্তম গতি শ্রী গুরু চরণে রতি সে উত্তম গতি जे प्रसाद पूरे सर्वासा जे प्रसाद पूरे सर्वासा चक्षुदान दिलो जय जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से चक्षुदान दिलो जय जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से दिव्य ज्ञान निधे प्रकाशित दिव्य ज्ञान निधे प्रकाशित प्रेम भक्ति जाते अविद्या विनाश जाते प्रेम भक्ति जाते अविद्या विनाश जाते मेरे गाय जार चरित मेरे गाय जार चरित श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनार बंधु श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनार बंधु लोकना लोकेरा जीवाना लोकनाथ लोकेरा जीवाना हाँ प्रभु करो दया दे मोरे पद छाया हाँ प्रभु करो दया दे मोरे पद छाया हे बेजार सुशुक्री भुवाना हे बेजार सुशुक्री भुवाना श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनार बंधु श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनार बंधु लोकनाथ केरा जीवाना लोकनाथ लोकेरा जीवाना हाँ प्रभु करो दया दे मोरे पद छाया हाँ प्रभु करो दया दे मोरे पद छाया हे बेजार सुशुक्री भुवाना हे बेजार सुशुक्री भुवाना श्रील प्रभुपाद पतित पावना श्रील प्रभुपाद पतित पावना जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभु Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Jai Prabhupada. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Jai Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Guru Puja ki. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga. Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga Gaurare, Nitai Gauranga Gaurare, Jai Sachinandana, Jai Sachinandana, Jai Sachinandana, Jai Sachinandana, Jai Sachinandana, Jai Sachinandana, Jai Sachinandana Gaurari, Jai Sachinandana Gaurari, Jai Sachinandana Gaurari, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Radha Madhav, Jai Radha Madhav, Jai Radha Madhav, Jai Radha Madhav. Jai Radha Madhav, Radha Madhav, Radha Madhav, Jai Radha Madhav. Jai Jagannatha, Jai Jagannatha, Baladeva, Jai Subhadra. Jai Gauranitai, Jai Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jai Gauranitai. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Jai Prabhupada. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Jai Prabhupada. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Sitanath Premanande. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paribrajacharya Ashtatarasata Śrīmad. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki. Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada Ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki. Prem Se Gaur Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vyasadeva Gaur Bhaktavinda Ki. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyam Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Vrindavan Mayapur Dham Ki Ganga Mae Yamuna Mae Ki Tulsi Maharani Bhakti Devi Ki Harinam Sankirtan Ki Srila Prabhupada Guru Puja Ki. All glory assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories Sri Guru, Sri Gauranga.
This morning Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam class will be given by His Holiness Bhakti Vigna Vinashak Narasimha Swami Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's good. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharidhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharidhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharidhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharadhari Yashodanandana Praja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Praja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nittai Gaur Hari Bo Hari Bo Hari Bo Hari Bo Jai Prabhupada Jai Prabhupada Prabhupada Jai Prabhupada Gaur Premanande Haribo. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat Nasta Prayeshu Vabhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. We're reading the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 1, Chapter number 7, entitled The Son of Drona Punished, text number 40. Sutta Uvacha Evam Parikshata Dharmam Partha Krishnena Chodita Naichad Dantum Guru Sutam Yadyapi Atma Hanam Mahan Sutta Uvacha Evam Parikshata Dharmam Partha Krishnena Chodata Naichadantam Guru Sutam Yadyapi Atmahanam Mahan Sutta Uvacha Evam Parikshata Dharmam Partha Krishnena Chodata Naichadantum Guru Sutam Yadyapi Atmahanam Mahan Sutta Uvacha Evam Parikshata Dharmam Partha Krishnena Chodata Naichadantam Guru Sutam Yadyapi Atmahanam Mahan. ladies. Sutta Uvacha. Sutta Goswami said, Evam, this, Parikshita, being examined, Dharmam, in the matter of duty, Partha, Sri Arjuna, Krishnena, by Lord Krishna, Chodita, being encouraged, Na Aichat, did not like, Hantam, to kill, Guru Sutam, the son of his teacher, Yadyapi, although, Atmahanam, murderer of sons, Mahan, very great. Translation. Sutta Goswami said, although Krishna, who was examining Arjuna in religion, encouraged Arjuna to kill the son of Dronacharya, Arjuna, a great soul, did not like the idea of killing him, although Ashwatthama was a heinous murderer of Arjuna's family members. You can all repeat. Sutta Goswami said, although Krishna, who was examining Arjuna in religion, encouraged Arjuna to kill the son of Dronacharya, Arjuna, a great soul, did not like the idea of killing him, although Ashwatthama was a heinous murderer of Arjuna's family members. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Arjuna was a great soul, undoubtedly, which is proved here also. He is encouraged herein personally by the Lord to kill the son of Drona, but Arjuna considers that the son of his great teacher should be spared, for he happens to be the son of Dronacharya, even though he is an unworthy son, having done all sorts of heinous acts whimsically for no one's benefit. Lord Sri Krishna encouraged Arjuna outwardly just to test Arjuna's sense of duty. It is not that Arjuna was incomplete in the sense of his duty, nor was Lord Sri Krishna unaware of Arjuna's sense of duty, but Lord Sri Krishna put to test many of his pure devotees just to magnify the sense of duty. The gopis were put to such tests as well. Prahlad Maharaj also was put to such a test. All pure devotees come out successful in the respective tests by the Lord. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chaksurun Militanyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadhamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Bandeham Shri Guru Shri Yata Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sakrajatam Sahagana Raganathan Vitam Tam Sajevam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishaka Nitamscha Hey Krishna Karana Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kantam Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namah Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Sarasati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasade Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. We're hearing what happened after the battle of Kurukshetra. Ashwatthama was very upset that his own father Dronacharya had been killed in the battle, and he sought to take revenge. So he came in the night and he killed all the 5 sleeping sons of Draupadi. Draupadi had 5 sons, one from each of the Pandavas, and they were all sleeping, but Ashwatthama came in the night and killed them while they were in their sleep, so they were unarmed. So it was a very sinful act on the part of Ashwatthama. And therefore Arjuna went to arrest him and captured him and brought him back, bound him up like an animal and placed him at the feet of Lord Krishna. So Lord Krishna was instructing Arjuna that he should kill him, that he's done a terrible sinful act, and proper punishment for such a person is the death penalty. So Arjuna is reflecting on the situation, what he should do. Should he actually kill him? Does Krishna really mean this? Because remember, Ashwatthama is the son of Dronacharya. And Dronacharya was the teacher of the Pandavas and the Kauravas. He had come there and he taught all the children of Dhritarashtra and Pandu. He taught them the military arts. He taught them how to use all the different weapons which they would have to fight with. And Drona was a Brahmana. He was not Kshatriya, although he was fighting in the Kurukshetra war. He was actually a Brahmana. He's Acharya, right? Drona Acharya. So Acharya, he's the Brahman, he's a teacher. And as Dronacharya is a Brahman, Ashwatthama is the son of Dronacharya. So Ashwatthama is also respected like the Guru. That is the custom, that the son, the family members of the Guru are respected like the Guru. Just like Srila Prabhupada, if Srila Prabhupada's son will come, we will honor and respect him just like Prabhupada. So Arjuna is reflecting what should be done. Should he actually kill him? Does Lord Krishna really mean that Arjuna is supposed to kill Ashwatthama? Actually, Ashwatthama is Charanjiva. He's one of the Amaras. He's not going to die so easily. And he's alive today somewhere in Himalayas. And the Vedas tell us that at the end of the Kali Yuga, Ashwatthama will come back and he will have he will be a better person than he has been. But that will be in the Satya Yuga, after this Kali Yuga. We are only 5,000 years into Kali Yuga. We still have another 427,000 years to go. Quite a long time, isn't it? And you have to go through the whole of Kali Yuga. So Ashwatthama, you will hear, he gets a punishment, he's punished, but they don't kill him. Jai Radha Madhava Gaurnitai Jagannath Baladev Subhadra. So Arjuna is reflecting what to do. Actually, Prabhupada explains, this is a test from Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna is testing Arjuna's sense of duty. Just as at the battle of Kurukshetra, Arjuna was tested, his sense of duty. He came on the battlefield and he was confronted by Bhima and Dronacharya. Bhima being, or rather Bhishma and Dronacharya. Bhishma meaning grandfather and Drona teacher. So people who were very dear to Arjuna and who were respected greatly by Arjuna. So Arjuna didn't like the idea of fighting against Bhishma and Drona, but he was intelligent enough to place the matter before Lord Krishna and take guidance from Lord Krishna. Arjuna told Lord Krishna that he had become confused about his duty because of miserly weakness. Karpanya dosho pahata swabhava prichami tvam dharma samuda cheta. Arjuna is saying, dosha, I have this fault, karpanya dosho. His fault is, he is kripana, miser. He is being miserly. His miserly weakness is that he is thinking in terms of the body, in terms of the skin. Sometimes Prabhupada refers to this attachment which we have for the family members and for the relatives. He said it's like a skin disease. Just like there's so many skin diseases we can get. In a tropical country like India, it's quite easy to get some kind of skin disease. So we have a subtle form of skin disease. All right? There's a gross form of skin disease where your skin gets affected, irritated, and so on. But there's a subtle form of skin disease, which is due to family attachment, due to the attachment to the body. We identify with people. We think, oh, he is one of my family members, or he is from my community, or he is of my religion, or he's of my nationality. We feel like that, you know? When an Indian person does well, or when India win a cricket match, the Indian people feel very good, right? Oh, we won. You know, we're identifying with ourselves, that we're thinking, I am an Indian. But actually, we're not Indian or American, or we're all pure spirit souls. We're all spiritual beings. So identifying with the body, this is a miserly disease. This is called kripana, miserly person, right? A miserly person he may be a crorepati, right? He has a lot of money, but he doesn't spend the money. He only counts it. How much have I got today? How much have I got tomorrow? And he's enjoying looking at the money and counting it. And he's thinking, I'm a rich man. But he doesn't use it. He doesn't spend it. So that is kripana. But in contrast, there is brahmana. There's on one hand kripana, and on the other hand there is brahmana. The brahmana is a generous person, and he doesn't just think of himself. So this miserly mentality is there in all of us if we do not utilize the human form of life. The human body is an opportunity for God realization, to become self-realized and to get free from the wheel of birth and death. If we don't use the body for this purpose, then we have failed to utilize the most important opportunity of the human life. Because whatever we're doing with our human body, often it's done by the animals. Just like eating. Well, the pig also eats, you know. We're a good eater. Can you eat like the pig? I don't think so. Well, the pigs can eat very big. They eat so much, right? So human life is not meant just for eating. If life was just meant for eating, better to just have the pig body. And if you like sleeping, just like this is Sunday morning, many people are probably still sleeping. They don't wake up so early on the Sunday. They think, rest day, you know, take a rest and sleep. And some people like to sleep all weekend. Some people can sleep a lot. But can you sleep like the bear? The bears, they can sleep for months. They will find a tree, they go in the hollow of the tree, and they will sleep in the hollow of the tree for a few months at a time. And so if life was just meant for sleeping, better to be a bear. And then it's also true when you talk about generally we talk about the animal proclivities. The activities of the animal are 4: eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. Now the animals, when they mate, they can produce many children. You know, the dogs, they will have 6 children at a time. And twice a year. Human beings cannot reproduce like that. And defending also. We try to defend ourselves. We don't have natural weapons of defense like a lion or tiger or even the dog. You know, they have their sharp teeth and claws. We're not given these things. So what is the value of human life? It's not meant for just the animal activities. Eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. We do these things, but we want to minimize them and regulate them and control them very carefully. But what is more important is to utilize the human form of life for something which is different from the animals. The animals cannot have religion. They cannot practice dharma, the codes of religion. That is the duty of the human beings. Just like we see laws. The laws are there in the state, in the country, there are laws. These laws are for the human beings, not for the animals. The human beings are meant to follow the laws. And just as there are laws on the bodily platform, there are laws on the spiritual platform, the codes of religion. This is given from the scriptures. So Lord Krishna is putting Arjuna to test. How much has Arjuna understood his duty as a Kshatriya? He's being challenged. Tests come, and Prabhupada explains how the gopis were tested. Now the gopis are great, they're very great devotees. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu describes that of all the devotees of Lord Krishna, the gopis are the greatest devotees of Krishna because they gave up everything for the service of Krishna. Lord Krishna would go into the forests of Vrindavan and play on his flute in the night. You know, usually in the daytime, Krishna will play the flute to call the cows. But when he goes to the forest at night to play on his flute, he's calling the gopis to come. The gopis are hearing the sound of the flute and they're thinking, Krishna's calling us to come to the forest. Lord Krishna would desire to perform rasa dance, the rasa lila. And the gopis would hear the sound of Krishna's flute and they would leave everything. They would immediately come running. Now that was a great sacrifice on the part of the gopis because they're chaste young girls. 5,000 years ago, even today, it's not good for a young girl to go out at night with a young boy, right? The father will be concerned about the chastity of his daughter. So 5,000 years ago, the situation was much more serious, and young girls were expected to be very chaste and not even to talk to a young boy like Krishna and the other cowherd boys. But the gopis hear Krishna calling on the flute and they're just so attracted, they go. They don't care about their chastity. They don't care if their family members are going to reject them or chastise them. And even one of the gopis was restricted. The family would not let her go, and she gave up her body. She could not tolerate not being able to go to be with Krishna, that she left her body. So this was how much the gopis loved Krishna. But Krishna would test them. When they would come to him, he would look at them and say, "Oh, gopis, why are you coming here in the dead of night? You're young girls, this is not very good. People will say you're not chaste." He would be testing them. He wanted to see how they would react. Lord Krishna tests everyone. And Prabhupada said also, Prahlad Maharaj was tested. Prahlad Maharaj, of course, had a father who was a very demoniac person. And he was the king of the demons. And as the king of the demons, they conquered all the demigods and they ruled the heavenly planets. And Hiranyakashipu, this father of Prahlad, wanted his son also to become a good demon. But Prahlad was a devotee. So Hiranyakashipu used to test Prahlad. He would ask him, "What have you learned from your teachers?" And Prahlad would explain to his father that I have learned that a materialistic person like you, who is simply attached to the body and to the things in relation to the body, is like an animal who has fallen into a dark well, and you better go and live in the forest. And so his father was not very happy to hear that kind of words, And then Prahlad went on to explain that the goal of life is to develop love for Vishnu and to surrender to Vishnu. And when Hiranyakashipu heard the name Vishnu, then he got really angry because Vishnu, in the form of Lord Varaha, had killed his brother. Right? Hiranyakashipu had a brother, Hiranyaksha, and Hiranyaksha had been killed by Lord Varaha, who is an incarnation of Lord Vishnu. So Hiranyakashipu hated the name of Vishnu. He said, "This is the enemy of our family." So Hiranyakashipu ordered that his son should be killed. But when they tried to kill him, they couldn't kill him. They tried to kill him in so many different ways, but they could not kill him. He could not be killed because he was a great soul. He was not an ordinary soul. Whatever happened, it wasn't that he was praying to Krishna to protect him, but simply he was always remembering Krishna. He was always remembering God at every moment. So when they threw him off the cliff, he was always remembering Krishna. They threw him off the cliff. When he landed on the ground was made soft and Prahlad was not injured. Then they threw him out into the middle of the ocean, but the ocean tossed him back on shore. Then they put him in the well with poisonous snakes, but the poisonous snakes did not bite Prahlad because Prahlad is a devotee. And Krishna is in the heart of all the snakes. So the snakes they didn't bite Prahlad because Krishna's in their heart. Krishna wouldn't let the snakes bite him. So in this way, Prahlad was put through many tests by Lord Krishna to see that he could remember Krishna in every situation. And we also get tests. What to speak of us? Lord Buddha was also tested. Lord Buddha was tested. He was the son of a prince, but he was tested. He was trying to renounce, and he was fasting and very hungry. And he was tested, but he passed the test. Haridas Thakur was tested. Now Haridas Thakur, from a very early age, when he was a young man, he began to chant the holy name. And he would chant the holy name incessantly. He would chant not just 16 rounds. Just like, we are chanting, devotees who are initiated, we make a vow to chant 16 rounds, right? How many of you chant 16 rounds? Oh, yes, quite a few men. Not all. Anyway, 16 rounds, it takes about 2 hours to chant or more. And Haridas Thakur, he wasn't chanting 16 rounds. He was chanting 192 rounds. Could you imagine? 192 rounds. That is 3 lakh names. 1 lakh name means 64 rounds. But Haridas Thakur was chanting every day 3 lakh names, which is 192. How long will it take you? If it takes 2 hours to chant 16 rounds, then to chant 192 rounds, it's going to take quite a long time, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, right, maybe 24 hours. Most of the day he's chanting. And he's not sleeping, he'd chant in the night also to finish his rounds. So Haridas Thakur was tested. And the test was that Maya personified came to try to attract him. Maya personified came. Maya means the illusory energy of the Lord. And Maya came in the form of the very attractive young woman. And Haridas was a young man. He wasn't an old man, he was a young man at this time. But this Maya personified came before him, trying to allure him. And what did Haridas do? Haridas said, oh, I have to chant. I have not finished my chanting yet. I cannot enjoy with you. She's saying, come and enjoy with me. And Haridas said, oh, I have to finish my chanting. Let me finish my chanting. After I finish my chanting, then we can think. But first I must finish my chanting. And this way Haridas Thakur continued to chant the holy name. So Maya personified came again. Said, have you finished your rounds yet? No, I'm still chanting. Like this, Maya personified ended up chanting the holy name herself. She also became a devotee. So the tests come, and we will all be tested. Of course, we don't know when the test will come, but definitely at the time of death, test is there. That is the final test. Just like you go to college, you go to school, you go to college, maybe you study university, then you have the final exam. You want to graduate, right? And you have the final exam. So, we also have the final exam. It comes at the time of death, when we're leaving the body. Therefore, Lord Krishna warns us in the Bhagavad Gita, Yam yam vapi smarambhavam chajati anti kalevaram. Whatever you remember at the end of life, that will determine your destiny in the next life. If you have a dog and you're thinking of your dog at the time of death, you may become a dog. Now that is not very nice. At least in India, people understand something about dogs. That it's not a very pleasant form of life. Your Western people, they think dog is a man's best friend, you know. They have funny friends, you know. So, we should be conscious. Next life, Where do you want to go? What do you want to be in your next life? Now we have the human body. Where are you going to go in the next life? You want to come back again in India? Well, India is developing, the economy is getting better, you know, the standard of living is improving. Maybe come back in India, not so bad. But you may not come back as a human. That's a problem, right? Indian people are eating more meat. You come as an animal, you'll be killed, slaughtered. It's not very pleasant. There's a story that Indra offended his guru, Brihaspati. Indra, the king of heaven, he offended Brihaspati because Indra's the king of heaven. He was enjoying opulence. And he was thinking, you know, heavenly planets, I'm the king of heaven. And he didn't give proper respect to Brihaspati. So Brihaspati thought, I have to teach Indra a lesson. So he cursed Indra, become a pig. So Indra took birth in a pig body. And in the pig body, you know, the pigs get their buckets of food. The farmer brings a lot of food every day, pig food. We know what the pigs eat, right? Pig slop, you know. It's not very pleasant. But the pigs eat, and they eat stool even. Sometimes the pigs are very happy to come and eat stool. So they get fat. This way they put on a lot of weight. So after some time, Brihaspati thought, okay, Indra's been a pig long enough. Let me go and get him and bring him back. So Brihaspati went to find Indra in the pig body, and he told him, now you come back. You've been a pig long enough. And Indra said, no, I like it here. I have my pig wives here, and I have all my pig children here. I can't leave them. And every day we get good food here. Look, I've become fat and healthy. And so Indra was insisting he didn't want to go back. So Brihaspati said, okay, just wait. So Brihaspati went and told the butcher, there's some big fat pigs there now. You go ahead, you can take the big fat pig. So the butcher came with the big knife, and he saw Indra. He thought, oh yes, that's a good pig, we'll take him. So then Indra screamed, no, take me, wait, Guruji, take me back. He prayed to Brihaspati, take me away, don't let me be chopped up. So this is what happens, you see. Now we have the human life. Human life is a responsibility. If we don't use it, we've wasted it. Very important not to waste this valuable opportunity. We are given so many facilities in the human life which are not there in the other forms of life. We have to make proper use of these facilities. But with facilities, there is also responsibility. Just like if you have a big position in the office, maybe government office, you're the big man, so you get special facilities. Maybe you get the car, and you get secretary, and you get apartment, and everything provided, and better salary, so many facilities. But with facilities comes responsibility. The manager of the office has to make sure that everything is done properly, that there's no corruption, that there's good efficiency, everybody's working nicely. If he does not fulfill the obligations, then he may lose that job. So the responsibility is there. Similarly, in the human life, we are given many facilities which are not there. for the dog, for the cow, for the pig, for the tree. Human beings are given special facilities, and we have also responsibility. Our responsibility in this human life is to understand, who am I? Why am I here? That is the beginning of human life, when we start to inquire and ask, who am I? Why am I here? Why am I suffering when I want happiness? I want happiness. Why am I suffering? So human life is meant for this inquiry. And if we don't make these inquiries, then we've wasted the human life. We have neglected the great opportunity, which is, we have been miserly. We have been very foolish. So Lord Krishna is testing Arjuna. How well are you aware of your duty, what you're supposed to do? We all have a duty. You may, I have a duty. I work for a company, I have a duty to them. Yes. I have a wife, I have children, I have a duty as a father, I have a duty as a teacher. What is the actual duty? Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam says, your duty is to deliver those people who are dependent on you. You have to deliver them from birth and death. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam said, don't become a husband unless you can deliver your wife from birth and death. Don't become a father unless you can deliver your children from birth and death. Don't become a teacher unless you can deliver your students from birth and death. This is the most important duty in life, to get free from birth and death. We have one interesting book. It is called Coming Back. It's the science of reincarnation. Nowadays, you know, most of the world accept reincarnation as a fact. So, in that book, they talk about different examples of reincarnation. And at the end of the book, the last chapter is what I think is the most important part of the book. And the last chapter is, don't come back. Right? We've been coming back again and again. And we've been coming back in many different forms of life. And we see in the Bhagavad Gita, when Lord Krishna was explaining the history of the Bhagavad Gita, that previously Krishna said, Imam vivishvate yogam proktabham aham avyayam vivishwan manave prahur manur ikshvakave bravid. Lord Krishna is giving the history of the Bhagavad Gita, that previously I instructed the science of yoga to the sun god Vivishwan. Vivishwan gave it to Manu, Manu gave it to Ikshvaku. But when Arjuna heard this, then Arjuna said, the sun god is senior by birth to you and I. How could you give the knowledge to the sun god? And Lord Krishna then says, many, many births both you and I have had, O Arjuna. I can remember all of them, but you cannot. We don't remember our previous births. We don't remember that we could have been trees, we could have been fish in the sea, we could have been birds flying in the sky, we could have been demigods. We have had many different bodies. We've been in this material world a long time. The Vedas describe us as Nitya Bada, eternally conditioned soul. eternally conditioned in the sense that we've been here a long time. We don't know it. We're not aware of it, but it's a fact. Krishna knows. We don't remember our previous births. Sometimes people do regression. They go to people, they put them into trance, and they'll take them back into their past life. And sometimes some people remember. Of course, not everybody had a human body in their previous life. If they take you back into your past life and you were a crow, what are you going to do? You know, you just caw. So we don't remember all of our births, but the fact is we're all eternal souls. We have had many lives. Now we have the human life. It's a valuable, rare opportunity to get out of the wheel of birth and death. So this is the point. The Vedic culture, in the Vedic culture, there is retirement, right? Vanaprastha. When you retire after Grihastha life, there is Vanaprastha. The Vedas say, Pancha Sorvam Vanambrajit. From the age of 50, one should go to live in the forest. The idea is, now you're old. Half the life, at least half the life is over. By the age of 50, half the life, then you should go to the forest. And why? Because you have to get detached from all the attachments which we have here in this material world. We have to get free of all the attachments. And we have to go away from the attachments and become attached to Krishna and his service. That is the purpose of Vanaprastha, to become free from material attachments and to develop the spiritual attachment. So we're meant to retire from the material to take up the spiritual activities. Now, while you're young people, you come to the temple on Sunday. Once a week, some spiritual practice. But as you get older, every day you must do spiritual practice. You should be ready to take full shelter of Krishna. And then, when the final test comes at the end of life, then it's not difficult to think of Krishna, because you've practiced, you have prepared yourself for the end of life. All right, we'll stop here, ask if there are any questions. Everybody agree, right? Everyone agree, right? Yes? All going to retire at the age of 50, right? All going to come to the forest? Come to the forest means come to the Krishna consciousness movement. We have our Krishna consciousness movement in places like Vrindavan and Mayapur. And you can come here also and you can do service for Krishna. And in this way you can prepare for that final exam, the test which is coming. Because Krishna will test us. He will test us. He will offer you money, material facilities. He'll give you nice wife, nice home, nice comfortable situation. The problem is you'll never want to leave. You'll never want to give it up. But we will be forced to leave. We will be forced to give these things up. That is the way of the material world. We don't like to leave, but we have to leave. The children, they're very nice when they're young and small, but they grow up. They get big, they become adults, and they'll go away and leave you. They won't stay with you. all your life, children, they grow up, they have their own families, they go away. So we have to understand the temporary nature of this world. Don't be in illusion. Don't remain in illusion your whole life. So the Vedas prescribe vanaprastha, renunciation, detachment. We have to develop that detachment. If you don't become detached voluntary, then Krishna will force you. He will take it all away by force. You have to give it up, because at the time of death, you leave everything. Right? What do you say in India? Kalihat ayate? Yes. When we're born, our hand is closed. But when we die, we open the hand. We leave everything. Nothing goes with us. So, this is the reality. Don't be in illusion. Don't think you can stay here forever. That was the dream of Prahlad's father, Hiranyakashipu, the demon. He was thinking, I will live forever. But he also died. He also met his death. Lord Nrsingadev came, and in one moment he lost everything. All of his wealth, all of his kingdom, it was all taken from him. So devotees naturally develops detachment because he understands nothing is mine. Everything is Krishna's. Someone's doing karma yoga, he's thinking, I'm giving this to Krishna. But somebody doing bhakti yoga, he's thinking, everything is Krishna's. Nothing is mine. It's all Krishna's. In this way, he gives everything to Krishna. So, are you all bhakti yogis or karma yogis? All right? No questions?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yes?
His question is, as you mentioned that in everyone's life we have to pass the test. We have to face the test. Just like Prabhupada mentions, Gopis has to face the test, and Prahlad Maharaj. So similarly, his question is that as a practitioner, we are also practicing. So how do we get the test in our life?
How do we get the test in our life? Well, the test may come in many different ways. I said, you may be offered a very attractive situation in the material world. You know, you may be out distributing books one day, and one man comes by and says, hey, why don't you work for me? You know, this often happens to our devotees, actually. You know, our devotees, we used to distribute books in the airport, and we'd meet a lot of businessmen, and they would see us distributing books, and sometimes they'd come and say, hey, you know, why don't you come and work for my company? You know, I need some salesman like you. I want someone who's really energetic and who's really lively, and you know, and you're a good talker, and you know, so you come and work for my company. I'll pay you well. You can make a lot of money. And you may think, oh. And you may think, well, my wife's always complaining we don't get enough money. Maybe I should take the job, you know. So that's the kind of test from Maya. And another test could be, you may be married and you meet another young woman who's also very attractive, who looks even better than your wife. And she's very nice to you and very friendly, and you may think, and she may be saying, oh yes, I'm looking, you know, I'm not married yet, you know. You may get drawn in, you know, Maya comes in many different ways. Wealth, fame, you may be attracted, you want fame, you may want position. Oh, so we say love, puja, pratishta, these things. These are all tests of Maya. You become attached to these things. You understand how Maya tests you? Yes, Prabhu has a question. Give him.
Hare Krishna. So, this question is regarding the sinful activities, whatever we do, and according to the sinful activities, what we have done in our current life or in previous life, we suffer in this material world. So, why the God gives the result a bit later, or why don't it can be immediately? Because there are people who are doing a lot of sinful activities, but they are like materially doing some good activities, or at the same time they are happy in this life. And but at the same time, the people who are doing the bhakti also suffering a lot. So why it is happening like that? Why the God is doing that way?
Yes. Well, we see the example that sometimes, you know, someone may be a devotee of Lord Shiva, and they may be very opulent. They live in luxury, they're a devotee of Lord Shiva. They're very comfortable in their material life. At least they look like they're very comfortable materially. They're devoted to Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva himself lives under a tree, a banyan tree. He doesn't keep any house. Lord Shiva himself, he's very renounced. And he has a wife also, but they live under the tree. And we see how Lord Narayan with Lakshmi, they live opulently in Dwarka. They enjoy all kinds of opulence. But the devotees of Lord Narayan or Lord Krishna, they often live simply, as you say, quite simply. But we have to understand there's a special opulence which the devotees enjoy. And that is peace of mind and satisfaction. Whereas those who are often devotees of Lord Shiva, they don't have peace of mind. They're often agitated, very passionate people. And as you say, they may take intoxication and so on. These things, they don't think about it. But they don't enjoy any real peace of mind, or their happiness is very superficial. Happiness is not just having opulence or being very well situated economically. Happiness is something much deeper than that. So the devotees of Lord Krishna and Lord Vishnu, they enjoy real happiness in their service to the Lord. They may not be very opulent or well situated economically, but generally they're very happy and satisfied in their service to Krishna. That is actually happiness which comes from within. Real happiness is not just sense gratification, just satisfying the senses. That happiness is very superficial. The devotees of the Lord, they experience the pleasure from within, which comes in serving, in doing bhakti yoga. And they don't mind. Just like Lord Chaitanya had one follower, Kolaveka Sridhar. Kolaveka Sridhar, he had a few banana trees, and he would have a very small income. Whatever he could get from his banana trees, he would use 50% to worship Mother Ganga. And in this way, he was happy. Whatever small income he would get, without fail, he would use 50% to worship Mother Ganga. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at one point sat on the throne of Vishnu, and they called Sridhar, and he told Sridhar, he said, Sridhar, I want you to take some benediction from me. What would you like? I can give you a kingdom. He said, I know your home, it's not in good repair, there are holes in the roof, and you use iron pots to drink your water from. You don't even have a good pot to drink water from. Lord Chaitanya said to him, let me ask some benediction. I can fulfill all your and any need you want materially. But Kulaveka Sridhar said, no, it's all right. He said, I don't mind. He said, the king is living in his palace and the bird is living in the tree. Each and every living entity is suffering and enjoying according to our past deeds. So he said, let me continue as I'm doing. Whatever income I get, I spend half to worship Mother Ganga. I'm happy. Why I need to change anything? So this mood was very much appreciated by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Didn't mind. He's completely happy in the mood of being a devotee, in doing devotional service. It gives the greatest pleasure. The illusion is to think, well, if I get rich, I'll be happy. If I get all the wealth and power and fame I want, then I'll make it, I'll be successful. It's such an illusion. It's just not true. It doesn't work like that. They sometimes say the happiest people in the world are among the poorest people in the world. And the more wealth comes to people, the more they become addicted to sinful acts, and the more their minds become disturbed. So this is what sociologists, people who study civilization, they have found out these kind of things. But the happiest people are among the most underdeveloped people. They live peacefully, without divorce, without all of the things, without drug addiction, and all of the things which go on today. All right. Any other question? Yes, Prabhu?
Hare Krishna Maharaji. My question is, as you said that the more you are rich is like, you are more poor. In the same way, in the spirituality also, if I compare, I see that the sannyas order of life is like a greatest responsibility and greatest satisfaction. You are serving the whole humanity. But the time you reach to that level, your body doesn't support. How do you take it forward? I mean, the body is not supporting to serve this, large responsibility to serve the whole world. So how do you feel like that? The body is not working properly. You are not able to walk around, travel around. How do you feel like that?
Of course, naturally, the body ages and begins to break down. That's there for everyone, not just for sannyasis. Not only sannyasis going to get old and body's going to break down, happens to everyone. But if someone is a dedicated sannyasi, then the body breaks down. We saw, for example, Gaur Govinda Maharaj, his body was breaking down. He kept preaching. He kept traveling and preaching. He didn't stop. So long as so long as he could speak, he kept preaching. And Prabhupada, you saw Prabhupada, have you seen the final instruction? Prabhupada's in Vrindavan, and he's on his bed, flat on his back, and he's dictating purports to Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. He could not eat, he could not drink he couldn't do anything. All he could do, somehow he was able to speak, and he was speaking purports to Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. So you can see that movie, it's recorded there. Prabhupada's final instruction, how he used his last breath to translate books. So that's very glorious. That's how to live the world, right? Yeah, but everyone's going to experience this. We don't want to, we don't like it, but we cannot avoid it, right? But we learn from these saintly people like Prabhupada and Gaur Govinda Maharaj, we learn how to live the body, how to dedicate the body in the service of Krishna. Even though it may be old and breaking down. Sometimes we see devotees go out on book distribution, they go out in a wheelchair to distribute books. They don't do traffic lights, so too difficult for it. But they do like to go out and distribute books. Okay, Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki. Gaur Premanande.
Ki